ndinoda kuti nyika isiwe vanhu vangu inguva yedu hatingatadzi kubudirira mwari ari parutivi pedu rambai muchirwa. My hitters gon' die, don't die, the real hitters gon' shine and my people gon' rise, 'cause we're born to win, yeah. I ain't saying, but I'm saying
loyalty's my favorite characteristic of God, but finding it in it is hard. It's like trying to find God. You're the only one in your camp with cheese. You pay for everything they eat. Man, that insecurity is deep. Now I ain't said no names. These are just theories. If you hear me, baby, it's home. You must admit it's kinda eerie, baby. Like them chemtrails in the sky. Hate the selling the slaves, kinda like the combines. We say everything in moderation, but don't do it in moderation. The lies of a gluttonous generation. 10-year-old girl.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that. How long you been back, man?
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful welcome. And I had to leave these flowers up here because I am so loved and I know it. I feel it, y'all. And I just got to say thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone for giving your love to me during this time of loss. Losing my father is just, it's huge. But also I got to say, I got to thank everybody here, my Converge Media family, my community family, all of y'all out there who watch. Thank you so much for welcoming me back with such a warm, loved welcome. Thank you so much, Curtis, for the flowers. Shout out to my director over there. And I just love y'all so much. And my dad he always would talk about how proud he was of everything I was doing. So I want y'all to know that I am back today because my dad would have it no other way. He'd be like, look, okay, I'm gone, but I'm always going to be with you. And I am carrying him forward every single day for the rest of my life. Of course, I will do that. But I had to come back today. It's an amazing show for y'all. And I just got to say, welcome. Welcome to the Day with Trey right here on this terrific Tuesday. We do have a phenomenal show for you guys because I can't believe it. Amanda Seales is in the building. She'll be joining us via StreamYard link. I'm so glad that she is making time in her busy schedule to be right here with us on the Day with Trey. So we'll be talking about her stopping off in Seattle. She'll be at the Paramount Theater on Friday, y'all, giving her show full of comedy and activism. You know she does it all. So I can't wait to dive in with her. And then later on in the show, I get to dive in with a community brother who's doing some great work. Devontae Parson is also in the building. We're going to be talking about all things Pro Se Potential. So you guys have an amazing lineup of guests today. And I also got to give a huge shout out because it's the first day that my assistant Erica is in the building. Welcome to the Black Media Matters Studios, boo. Well, of course, we also have some updates. So before I get into it with Amanda, first one we want to share with y'all is to let y'all know, of course, if you can't watch The Day with Trey, you guys can find us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Search The Day with Trey under Converge Media. You guys will find us there. We're on iTunes, Google, Spotify, anywhere you find podcasts. So it's okay if you can't watch the show. And because we're at the top of the show, it's the greatest time for you to tag and share the stream. Make sure y'all are tagging and sharing this as much as possible because I'm telling y'all, we got big time Amanda Seales on today, but we're keeping it going with amazing guests every single day. And y'all know I want y'all to be inspired. So please tag and share the stream with people you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trey. All right, we got these great updates. Now, Seattle Jazz Ed is the first one I'm going to talk to y'all about. Seattle Jazz Ed is a nonprofit. It's in education, and it's expecting their fall programming for young people to access across the region. They've been founded to teach and honor the great legacy of jazz music. Their goal continues of making sure kids experience the life-changing magic of teamwork, creativity, and confidence that comes from a dedicated education in the undoubtedly quintessential Black American art form of jazz. They serve students across Seattle area and in over 20 programs, including big band ensembles, jazz combos, workshops, private lessons, summer camps, and online learning. They enroll starting in grades 4. So anybody from 4th grade and above can benefit from their programming. Musicians at every level of ability can join in, where they can drum, strum, blow, bell it out, and everything in between. All programs are offered on a sliding scale tuition model. No questions asked, y'all, with free loaner instruments available for students for the whole time they're in the program. So if you're ready to make music, save your seat before classes start in early October. Head on over to Seattle Jazz Ed. So it's Seattle Jazzed, basically.org, and email their programs at seattlejazzed.org. You can also call or text 206-324-JAZZ. So I hope you guys are listening to that right there. I know my son right now is only in the 3rd grade. So next year I will be looking at this program because he loves music and he's been doing African drumming for the last couple of years. So he might be ready to get his drum on in the jazz world. Up next, we also have to talk about Elixir of Love. Now, I have a personal account of this amazing story because I was able to go see this. My homegirl was in town from Atlanta for my dad, and we got to go see this on Sunday. It was amazing, y'all. Of course, the Elixir of Love is one of Seattle Opera's most award-winning comedies, and it definitely has some laughs for you. But I'm telling y'all, I can't wait because tomorrow we actually have Dwayne, who's going to be in the building, telling us all about this amazing production. So y'all will hear more tomorrow, but make sure you cop your tickets. The show is ending on August 20th, so you still have some time to go check out this amazing show. And last up, this is phenomenal. Seattle is doing a tenant improvement program, and this is so necessary. So let me make sure I get these notes right. It says, are you a small business interested in improving your commercial space? Apply to the Commercial Tenant Improvement Fund to receive up to $100,000 for tenant improvement projects. This is through the Seattle Office of Economic Development, OED. They're investing $1.9 million to make commercial space improvements more affordable for small businesses impacted by COVID-19. So you need to apply by September 8th at 5 p.m. The funding can be used for various projects such as renovation costs, installation of takeout windows, building various new locations. Also, virtual information sessions will be available. You guys can check out more information and get your questions answered at 206-684-8090. Curtis is going to put the link in the comments there as well so that you guys can check out this amazing program. And I just got to say, because I have been a part of Africatown and Africatown Community Land Trust, I understand how important it is for there to be a fund like this. Oftentimes, when we push for affordable commercial space, tenants still need to come in and put a bunch of money just to retrofit the space for them. So shout out to Office of Economic Development for seeing that there is a need and they are filling that need. Well, you guys, no further ado necessary. I get to welcome in Miss Amanda Seals joining us from StreamYard Link. What's up, Amanda? Are you muted?
I am no longer muted. Yes, I am joining you from StreamYard Link.
Yeah, look, I'm like, I don't know where you're at in the ethos. I don't want to say you're in one specific place, but I know you're on that link. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I got to say, I really thank you for making time in your busy schedule. And I'm so excited that you'll be here on Friday. You have done previous tours before. People have seen you all over the airwaves throughout Hollywood. Tell us a bit about your start, because I think, oftentimes people assume certain things, but you've been doing stuff for a very long time. And I actually got to see one of your clips where you were talking about Seattle, about the Northwest African American Museum. You've done a lot of work before people even saw you on big screens. Tell us about your start.
I started when I was 8. I've been in the Screen Actors Guild since 1994. And I was doing commercials, and I was in the movie Cop and a Half, and on Nickelodeon on My Brother and Me. And so I was doing that kind of work as a child actor. And then when I got to college, I found my way to spoken word and just really honestly got my invitation into being just an independent artist and really supporting myself through my visual art and my lyrical art and doing music, etc. And that was really what I was doing for quite some time, and found my way to Seattle doing spoken word, and found my way back to Seattle doing visual painting and visual art. Shout to White King Allah, who basically brought me out of Seattle several times to do different types of work, whether it was lecturing or speaking to kids or speaking to older folks at libraries. I had a poetry book. It was definitely a time, and I really appreciate anybody who supports independent artists, because I think that there's such an expectation that if people aren't like co-signed by these major networks, et cetera, that they're not really important yet. So I wasn't really being co-signed by major networks until I was on Insecure. Otherwise, I was doing like stuff on VH1, and I was really just supporting myself through the work that I was doing just freelance wise. And so shout out to all the artists out there that are making a way with their career and their creativity in this weird capitalist place that we're in.
Absolutely. Well, the thing that I really appreciate about you is, I think a lot of people sometimes when you get to a certain place, we talk about it in community all the time, but you really have stayed true to your ideals, and that really carries you forward. I think when you are, on your social media and you're calling out certain things, you're really putting things to light. And it sounds like you're going to be infusing some of that in your show. Tell us about how you curated this specific show to now tour it so people can kind of get a huge glimpse of all the things that you really showcase and represent.
Well, this is stand-up. This is stand-up comedy. You can check out my stand-up on HBO. My right there, that poster is my special, I Be Knowing. I know that people put me as an actress because I'm able to act, but at this point, I'm so more interested in using my voice to speak about things in a very direct way, not through a character, but just through my experiences. And my stand-up is the most potent and the most real version of that. And I'm on tour putting together my next special. And I've been in Raleigh, North Carolina. We've been in the Kennedy Center in DC. And with each show, I'm really making it my business to use my platform to try to be expansive in bringing community together. So instead of having an opener on majority of these shows, we'll have a closer, and the closer will be an activist or organizer in that area who is doing work on the ground. And really trying to, let people know that the work has continued to be done, even if you weren't a part of it. And so a lot of my audience want to help. They want to be action-based. They know that there needs to be a fight, an ardent, earnest fight against what's going on in this country, but they don't know where to start. Well, there's people who've been on it, who've been focused. And so we're connecting with those people in these cities and throwing them up after I throw these jokes down.
Oh my goodness. That's what I'm talking about. See, that right there is what I'm always sharing with folks, how you can utilize your platform to really spread the work that's happening on the ground. Amanda, man, hats off to you for understanding that. And that's what I mean, that it's been so important for us to keep that message alive. So I love that you are doing that. I think even for me, people are like, well, how did you end up having your own show and doing Convergent? I'm like, man, I started when I was 9 years old in front of the camera, and really this has been like a passion of mine. But community activism, as my entire audience knows, is what really pays the bills. I got to be out here advocating for all of the community-based organizations that are doing the work, creating solutions on the ground. And the end of every show here, I am encouraging people to be inspired to see themselves as a part of the solution.
Absolutely.
Because we will not get out of this if we're not all pouring into it. And so I just love that you are utilizing
they are all pouring into it.
Yeah.
Guess what? They are all pouring into the people that we consider to be oppressors. They all consider themselves valued part of keeping oppression alive. They all consider themselves a role in that, and they commit to it. They make it a part of their culture every day to wake up and be a part of advancing the oppressive systems of this nation. We need to have the same energy. We need to keep the same energy in terms of challenging and dismantling it.
Oh my goodness. Every single day of my life, I echo this. So I thank you so much for doing that. Of course, we got to give you some time and space to make sure people know how they can come to this amazing show on Friday. Man, shout out to SDG because I'm glad that you're going to be on one of the biggest stages here in Seattle at Paramount. We love them. Make sure folks know how they can follow you, stay connected to all the messages that you're putting out there. And again, appreciate you so much for giving us some time. But make sure folks know how they can see this show on Friday.
So you can go to amandaseales.com. That's AMANDASEALES.com. And you can check out the tickets right there at the amandaseales.com. We have all the tour dates. So if you have friends in other cities that may want to check me out, it's listed right there. We also just added Chicago and Detroit. No, sorry, we added Chicago and the Bay. So we'll have those tickets going on sale shortly. You can also subscribe to the Amandaverse. It's basically a universe of Amanda, but it's basically my subscription service where I provide behind the scenes content, a bunch of commentary that I do not share on Instagram. It is also where I do sketches and other show other personal videos, etc. But really what it is a place where you can, one, support me being an independent artist so I can continue to speak in the earnest, honest way that I do. And also a place where we've created an environment outside of Zuckerberg's very shady-ridden Instagram where we can have real conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you for providing a separate outlet and platform. We talk about this all the time that, in order for you to really get these kinds of messages out that are going to dismantle all of this, it means that you kind of have to have your own platform because we already know the algorithms work against us. And you said something that really resonates with me, that everybody that is involved in the oppressiveness of things, they know that they are doing it and they are doing it with full throttle. So we also have to come with that same energy in order to disrupt all of that. And you called out my brother, KY King Garrett. Shout out to him because I know he's one of those folks that are on the ground. You see, I'm
every day
Africatown proudly today, yes. But been doing it for a really long time. And it really takes a lot of us to be dedicated to this over the long haul, because this is not a short game at all. This is a very long game we got to play, and we understand that. Thank you for uplifting that message. I can't wait to see you on Friday.
Thank y'all. See you there.
All right. Bye. Oh my goodness. What an amazing interview with the Amanda Seales. I just appreciate that she's just authentically herself in every space, no matter what platform. So you guys want to make sure you guys go to her website, cop your tickets today, grab those, buy those, share them with friends, share the link. We want to be able to let her know that we here in Seattle support the message that she's pouring out there on these major stages, and kudos to her for connecting on the ground in these communities that she's coming to on tour, so that she can end with somebody who can give you a direct way that you can see yourself as a part of the solution. I already got the goosies. I'm excited. And of course, coming up after this short break, we're going to continue in this amazing conversation of work that's happening on the ground. Devontae Parson is in the building. He's going to be telling us all about Pro Se Potential. You guys don't want to miss this. Stay tuned after this short break. You're watching The Day with Trey.
I'm the Bancho Ski Band, like the Jamaica friends call me. Capella, like my Slatkans call me. Mensa, like my Ghanaians call me. Frike, like my Liberians call me. Usinawata Buroga Yawan. Importer, exporter. Seattle. Join me at the 8th annual Madaraka Festival. Yes, on the 13th and on the 14th. PS62. Oh my bad, bro. Join, come outside. It's a charity event. It is a free event. And of course, I'm here to support what One Vibe has been doing in Africa. Anything given is always part of what I do. And I cannot wait to be there. So if you're still sitting down, you are on a long thing. We're going to eat jollof rice. We're going to chop like, we're going to, oh my God, I cannot wait. Feel it, don't touch it.
Me and you, in the bedroom, baby, send a boom, boom, boom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. What's the facility? Now we run. The truth with proof, the truth with proof. If you nice with the sports, then he swooping through. He gon' highlight you. Ain't nobody live like us, fly like us. We gon' find you, put the city behind you. Let us know you got skills, we gon' be at a game. In the Northwest, we reppin' the city where it rains.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Day with Trey. And of course, I got to give a shout out to the Truth with Proof. It is Truth Tuesday as well. So that means you guys can catch that tonight at 8 p.m. everywhere that you guys are watching and listening right now on Converge Media. Make sure you guys check out my brother, Truth with Proof. He's been keeping it live on Tuesday nights. He is here for y'all. But of course, somebody else who's here for y'all is Devontae Parson. He's in the building with me right now. What's up, Devontae? How are you?
What's up with it, man? I'm happy to be here. Feeling good, blessed all day, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad that you are here. You know, I met you out at a community event. You were talking about what you were doing, and just share a bit about your background, because you came to this work with some lived experience that really gave you insight as to how to approach the work that you're doing with Pro Se Potential. So just tell us a bit about your background.
Yeah. No doubt I'll try to summarize the best as I can right now. You know, born in San Antonio, Texas, came out here when I was like 1 year old. You know, my dad was murdered before I was born, and my mom kind of had like a mental breakdown with that situation, you know, having boys on her own and everything. So my grandma took a hold of me. We was raised over in Yester Terrace projects, you know, heavily gang infested and whatnot. So it was natural that I fell into the gang culture at a young age. I was about 12, 13 when I really started kicking it closer to the Central District. You know, I had homeboys up there. So just, you know, tapping into that culture, I was involved in a lot of different activities that led me in and out of the juvenile system over and over, juvenile prison, jail, just bad situations. My grandma went to prison. When I was 14, she went to prison. So now I'm pretty much on my own. But the story that a lot of people know most about, that I'm most known for at the point and where Pro Se came from, was when I was 22 years old. So I was 22 years old, and we got into a big altercation in Tacoma with some guys that led from a fight to a shooting, and it ended me in handcuffs, obviously, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm in the jail facing a life sentence at 22 years old. And what I noticed at that point was there was some younger guys coming in there, 18, 19, 20, 21 or whatnot, and they're just having a ball. They're enjoying this stuff. They're getting 2 years, 3 years. You know, they're turnarounds and whatnot, and I'm sitting there facing the rest of my life. So at that moment, I had the time to be sober-minded. I wasn't smoking weed. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing anything. But I'm seeing all this havoc and this chaos in the lives of these younger individuals, and they don't even realize why and what that's stemming from, right? And they're just bound to come back inside and keep going until they end up in my situation or they end up dead. What I did at that point that was really unique, and I didn't realize that I was doing it at that point, because I believe you don't really realize you're making history at the moment until you do later on and look back at it. You're just doing what's authentic to you. I started pulling young people to the side. I'm like, man, look, bro, if I give you this honey bun, can you just try not to get in a fight this week? You know, and if I make you some dinner, then how about you read this book and you tell me something about it? Give me a book report. You know, if I do this, can you create a release plan? Just giving them different incentives to do good, you know, do things that were agreeable. And before I knew it, I essentially had like my own little like caseload of young folks around me, you know, and, you know, they're looking up to me, talking to me, you know, taking good advice. And simultaneously, I'm fighting for my life. What I did was, when I look back, it was foolish at 22 years old, you know, straight from the streets and whatnot. I fired my attorney. And I did that because I felt like nobody cared about my life as much as I did at that point. And if I wanted my life, another second chance of life back, then I had to fight for it. So I fired my attorney, man. And throughout that time, 14 months, they wouldn't give me no deal better than 25 years. They wouldn't budge on it. And so I went to trial, and I got the assault in the first degrees off my back. And then I walked away with a lawful possession of a firearm and assault in the second degree, where I had to do 6 years. When I realized that true piece of empowerment, like that was as you know, young folks will find destructive ways to feel like they're powerful, to feel like they're empowered. The gun was my power at one point. My bandana was my struggle. That was my power. The fear was my power. But that moment, the fact that I was able to essentially become somewhat of a lawyer in 14 months, I educated I did that. And I was able to get on prosecutors like that and represent myself like that and tell the top lawyers in the community, they came and talked to me, talking about I should be a lawyer. That's the best they've ever seen as a young black man that's from the streets. I was like, bro, this is real power right here. This is what it is. And so I dedicated my life from that point on to empowerment, to true empowerment. That's when I started self-educating. I started reading, I started writing, I started studying and learning myself. I did more mentorship when I was in prison. I had to transform myself into this being, right? That transcended the area I came from, so that I can inspire the others to transcend the areas they come from. And that's where the Pro Se Potential came.
Devontae, I mean, come on. I gotta say that I just keep getting so overwhelmingly inspired by those who find themselves in the injustice system and find themselves incarcerated and do everything they possibly can to change their set of circumstances. And you really are such a grand example of that. So thank you for sharing that background. I mean, then you come out clearly. What a huge feat for you. Like you said, that I could see how that would change your entire perspective when it comes to what power really looks like, shifting power and controlling that power for yourself. What a phenomenal story there. But then you come out and you realize like there's something you need to be giving to community with regard to all that you have really learned throughout that process. So tell us a bit about the birth of Pro Se Potential and what it is, what it's doing right now in community.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's funny. I got to tell this part. So when I initially got out, I had been working with young folks in there for the better part of my time. So I wanted to be this motivational coach, a motivational speaker for a lot of the homies and a lot of the people that came from. So I was looking more like the adult spectrum. You know, I was going to still tap in with my young folks, but I was going to let them just see how I do it. And if they wanted to learn, I was going to teach them. And what actually happened was, as I was going in throughout the community and seeing different things, and I was putting on Facebook Lives, and people were like, hey man, my little brother, you know, my little sister, my son, my people that knew me when I was banging out in the streets, they was tapping in with me like, hey, but can you talk to my little bro? Like, I see what you're doing, you know what I mean, a little bit. So I was like, you know what? I can't reach everybody. I had people from out of this see my lives from like I did talks in Germany, India, or whatnot. They was tapping into for their young folks. So I was like, you know what, man, how do I do this? I could put this in a book, right? So I wrote Pro Se, The Art of Becoming More, which is my book, right? And it was about the lessons I had learned in prison, but I put them in a practical way to where you don't even have to go to jail, juvenile, or prison to use those in a practical way. Mm-hmm. So when I put that book out, people went crazy. Now they're like, okay, you're really doing this. They see me moving around the community, see me mentoring. It started off with mentoring and case manager, right? Doing mentoring, connecting people with resources I had, whether it was jobs, whether it was housing. I just being a shoulder to cry on. I didn't sit there with a lot of the young homies that died in the neighborhood. I didn't been with them when they was alive with guns on their side, sitting there having a conversation with them, giving them understanding. And then the community was like, hey man, you need to do something. Like you need to raise something up. Like you need to put something around you to make this a legal establishment. And that's where I decided one day, I was like, man, Pro Se. I went Pro Se. I represented myself. For people that don't know, Pro Se means to represent yourself legally. So I started I said, Pro Se, well, I represent myself in life now. Because at one point, I wasn't representing myself in life. This is me standing up on my own. Circumstances and situations ain't doing it, right? And I was like, well, how do I utilize that platform to help other people reach their potential? That's where Pro Se Potential started. And I was like, you know, let's put the nonprofit organization around that. Pro Se Potential. And what we initially started off was just mentoring, and we'll have little programs like we had a vision building program, goal setting program, because you can't go anywhere unless you have a vision of your life of where you want to go. The first step, and I tell this to my young folks that are incarcerated and my older brothers and sisters that are incarcerated, your first step is figure out where you want to go. Get the vision in front of you, right? And so we started doing vision building things and goal setting. And then after that, we were able to move around and do some mentoring, vision building, goal setting. And then some of the county people started looking at us, and we was blessed to get some smaller grants and some other grants to where we was able to open up different workforce development programs. Now we just got the Best Starts for Kids grant, which is a blessing. Shout out to King County for doing something right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Big love to them, man, and the community leaders that advocated on my part for that. Now we just released our workforce development program, which is focusing on college and career readiness, financial literacy, social entrepreneurship, as well. Attached to that, we're doing the youth voice with it, right? And the way we're doing that is we're putting the young people, we're helping them lead their goal setting strategies, right? And also putting them in front of different public people, which is like mayors. We will put them in politicians and things like they be coming to the office. They have an opportunity to have the conversation with these individuals and let their voice be heard. And we take those different things, we hold these individuals accountable and create action plans with them. So that's what we're doing right now in the community on top of our mentorship and case management.
Oh my gosh. I'm just so elated. I'm so elated. Like, we have such a strong Black community in Seattle. I don't care what nobody says. People talk about all these other communities, and I have traveled, and I really being a part of this, and you knowing that you did something for yourself and you brought it out so that now you can affect so many more people. Shout out to Best Starts for Kids for investing in you. Congratulations on that investment. That is huge, because now you're able to really build your capacity to serve more people. And I appreciate that there are some major, specific, intentional investments that are happening at our community levels to really scale up these amazing solutions that are being crafted on the ground. I say it all the time, probably every day. Solutions that are being crafted on the ground need to be scaled up. They need to be advocated for. They need to be invested in. This is what reparations looks like. And I've said it to the Supreme Court of Washington State. There are so many examples of how they can enact real reparations right here in Washington State because of people like yourselves and programs like Pro Se Potential. So I just appreciate you so much, because I know you have a busy schedule. I know you have a lot going on. But when I heard about this, I had to make sure that we brought you here. And before I let you go, I know we're over time, but just look right there in that camera. Let folks know how they can tap into Pro Se Potential.
Oh man, you go to prosepotential.org. You can add me on Facebook at Devontae. We also have an Instagram at Pro Se Potential, or you can add me on Instagram under Prolific Tay. Either way, it leads back to the source, which is Pro Se Potential, man. Stay empowered.
Amazing. And our director Curtis is putting it right there in the comments, putting the link in there so people can check out your website, check out what you're doing, and find a way to be engaged, because there's a lot of young people out here. And right here at Converge Media, we talk about this all the time. You know, prevention versus intervention, right? Like, how do we prevent them from even getting into that system? So folks like you, and they listen to people like yourself who have been there, done that, speak the language, all of that, because that is what is necessary. We need more advocates like yourself who can really tap in with these young folks, because we realize when we look at crime, when we look at the murder rate, particularly throughout King County, we know that it's really a lot of young folks that are involved in this. When it's about this gun violence, how do we disrupt it? It's programs like Pro Se Potential. Bro, I can't thank you enough for coming on today and sharing your story, and literally not just allowing your story to benefit you, but then taking that passion to a community level and to benefit so many more. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch, because as you got new programs, you got to come back and let us know what's going on.
No, you already know I will, man. I appreciate you for what you're doing, because I know we're going over time, but this is something that needs to happen. We need our own media that's going to put ourselves out there and bring those individuals and those organizations to the rise that are doing that, because nobody else is doing it. They shut us up too quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Power. That's right. We got to have a platform to share our stories. That's why I love Converge, and I love being here on The Day with Trey. Thank you so much.
Most definitely.
My gosh. What an amazing episode for me to come back to, y'all. I told y'all I had to come back, because when I talked to Devontae weeks ago, I just said to him, I said, man, this is phenomenal. And you guys know I get excited about all of these things that are happening, because honestly, community can take care of community. When community has the resources and folks like Devontae at the helm, we were already talking earlier about KY King Garrett. We need these folks in the community to be doing the work that they're doing, because honestly, it is so necessary, but it's also life-changing work. And that's exactly what we do here at Converge. So I got to give a huge shout out to Omari Salisbury and Eric Calligraphy for opening up Converge, because we need this platform to share all of this amazingness that is happening that otherwise would not be shared on other platforms. And Devontae said it there, and it's so true. And that's why I love being a host right here. I love being a producer and a TV show host, y'all, because I get to connect with the people on the ground. I also love being a community member because they know me up in these streets. So I don't just spend all my time in the studio. I be out there pounding the pavement. So shout out to all the organizations that are out there doing great work, staying committed to the mission of dismantling this oppression. We need it so bad. I want to give a huge shout out to Amanda Sills for joining me today, and for her to also utilize her amazing, huge platform to open it up so that people can find a way to get connected to amazing community work that is happening on the ground. This whole episode has really ignited me. And I'm telling y'all, my dad is just, I know he's smiling. I know he is, because he knows I'm in my element. I am living in purpose, on purpose, and I'm so grateful for all of that. I want to thank all of y'all for all your love and support of The Day with Trey. It feels good to be back with my Converge family. I thank you guys for being with me while I was away all last week. And I just want to give a huge thank you to everybody who's been pouring out the love, sending me messages. You guys have no idea. I normally retreat, but y'all wasn't allowing it. Y'all was making sure I knew I was loved. So thank you so much for that. Of course, tomorrow, like I said, we're going to have another amazing show, y'all, because we're going to be hearing from some great guests that are going to keep you inspired. So make sure you guys watch tomorrow. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.